Self-sabotage is when you tell yourself you don't need to do something because you already know the outcome is going to fail, right? That's what self-sabotage is. And ironically, it's never a fear of failure. It's a fear of success. And this blows people. Have you ever been on a workout routine? You're like, I'm going to work out 3 times a week every week. And then one week you skip it because you're sick. And you're like, I'm already out my routine. There's no point doing it. That's self-sabotage. You were doing great. You fell off for 1 week. Why give up? Now it's done. That's it. You got to wait till January the 1st to start again. You can just literally figure out the ways you're self-sabotaging. You can't do it yourself. You really need somebody else to point it out to you because these are, lies, one of your favorite topics.
Love and lies.
Adam is one of the world's leading dating coaches, and I consider the GOAT. A lot of people consider you the GOAT. You're like the coach's coach as well.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've trained a lot of dating coaches.
Yeah, you have. Explain self-sabotage so that everybody...
Yeah, sure. So you think of it this way. Self-sabotage is when you tell yourself you don't need to do something because you already know the outcome is going to fail, right? That's what self-sabotage is. And ironically, it's never a fear of failure. It's a fear of success. And this blows people. Yeah, so I'll explain. When you know you're going to fail, people tend to be very happy to do the thing. The problem is they're worried about succeeding and then what comes next, right? So for example, if you meet someone that you're attracted to and you go, oh, I'm going to try and talk to this person, a lot of people will say, well, they're so beautiful, they're so successful. In their mind, they're like, after a few months of meeting me, I'm not going to be able to, live up to their expectation. I'm not going to be good enough. And so they're just going to break up with me, and then my heart's going to get broken, so I'm not going to make this happen. So it's not a fear of failure. It's a fear of success, and then that they will screw it up. That is self-sabotage.
So it's like, I'm not good enough thinking. Like, you're already going through the relationship.
Yeah, you're going to the next phase.
Mind, you're like, this is how it's going to play out. I might as well go ahead.
I got this right now. There's a woman that I know that's, trying to date this guy. And she must have sent him 10 messages being like, well, a lot of guys, they're players. They're not really, they don't want anything other than sex. You're good looking and successful. I bet that's what you want. And this guy's like, I'm really not like that. I'm really just finding it hard to meet someone that actually wants to build a real relationship. And she goes, yeah, that's what they all say. And now he's over it. After 10 messages of her basically venting at him, he's done. And he's exactly what she wanted. He's rich, good looking, single, wants to meet somebody. And she's ruined it, because she's self-sabotaged. She made it so negative of an experience that he just doesn't want to deal with it.
Right. I mean, you're hearing that. And then, surely people judge people and they may assume, but that's nothing that you would even speak out. But it doesn't matter for the listeners whether you're speaking this out to somebody or typing, talking, whatever. If you're thinking this way, that's like the hidden killer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can not to ask these questions and think them, but in the back of your mind, if you're feeling it and thinking it.
Yeah, and self-sabotage shows up in so many other ways. Not even just in dating. Have you ever been on a workout routine? You're like, I'm going to work out 3 times a week every week. And then 1 week you skip it because you're sick. And you're like, I'm already out my routine. There's no point doing it. That's self-sabotage. You were doing great. You fell off for 1 week. Why give up? Now it's done. That's it. You got to wait till January the 1st to start again. It's crazy. Another form of self-sabotage. Another form of self-sabotage is you're in a job. You hate your job. Well, just start applying for new jobs. But people don't. Oh, no, I can't. Why can't you? Why can't you apply? What are you really worried about? You're worried that you'll get the job. And then you have to quit this one. And secretly, you don't hate it as much as you think you do. Or you're worried that the next place will be worse. Or it won't be comfortable. That's self-sabotage. It shows up everywhere. In dating, it shows up the worst. It shows up the worst in dating because you get stuck in these relationships that you don't want to be in. And you date a lower quality of person because you convince yourself that basically anybody better than that, won't like you. And the reality is that's just not true. It's just not. Or you get guys that think they want to date a certain type of woman and they self-sabotage because they go after that type of woman over and over again, and it's the wrong type of woman for them. Or women do this. Women will date guys that break their heart, and then they'll be like, oh, but I'm just so attracted to this other guy. And her friends will be like, he's just like the last guy. He's the same personality type. You're going to get your heart broken. She goes, oh, but there's just something about it. No, there is nothing about it. The thing about it is that this collapses and you're okay with it because you like the drama, you like the breakup, because then you get the sympathy afterwards, and you don't really want to build towards a real life where you actually have to put effort in. It's easier to just have fights than it is to, actually do whatever you need to do in the relationship. That's self-sabotage. Shows up everywhere. It is why so many people struggle when it comes to dating, and they just don't have to. You can just literally figure out the ways you're self-sabotaging. You can't do it yourself. You really need somebody else to point it out to you, because these are, lies, one of your favorite topics. These are the lies we tell ourselves, right? This is how it is. And because of that lie, you do need somebody else to point it out to you and be like, hey, this is what's going on.
Where is when you're looking at your self-sabotaging, like to sit there and reflect, what would be, I guess, a pattern? You're so into patterns, getting to know you. You're like a pattern guy. Yeah. So the listeners, if you could say this one thing, like if you're already doing this and you see this as a pattern in your life, in your dating, whatever, in your thinking, what would that, like right off the bat, somebody's listening right now?
So, I mean, the pattern is, if you find yourself complaining about your life, you're self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
It's your life. You own it. It's nobody else's. You're not the victim of whatever's going on. You're in charge of it. I'll give you a good example. This is a political one. I had a buddy of mine, and I made a post about something. It's going back about 5 years. And he made a post on my post. Like, he commented. And he was like, it's easy for you to say you're white. And I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, you say that because you're white. And it was nothing to do with racism. But my buddy, he came out and said that. And I said, do you not like this policy? He goes, no, I hate this policy. This policy goes completely against everything I stand for. And it was something about success and money and opportunities, right? And he's like, you have more opportunities because you're white. And I was like, look, I don't disagree that I think I have more opportunities because I'm white. Like, that's not my point. My point is, I'm just saying there are opportunities out there for people that go and get it. And he goes, yeah, because you're white. And I was like, no, because I go out and get it. And maybe it is easier for me. I'll acknowledge that, right? There's privilege there. And also, what are you doing about it? And he goes, what do you mean? And I was like, what are you doing about it? What are you doing? And he goes, well, it's easier for you. I was like, I don't care if it's easier for me. I was like, in a game of cards, if we were playing cards and I got a better hand than you, that game is easier for me. That doesn't mean you can't win. It's easier, yes. I'll acknowledge that. But what are you doing about it? And he said, what do you mean? I was like, go down to the political office, get change. And he's like, bro, can we get on the phone? I was like, yeah. So I get on the phone with this guy, and he's like, do I just go to the office? I was like, yeah, just contact them and say you want to go and enact change. And he became a major, person that would go regularly to the political office and fight for change. And he got some big changes to happen. And he messaged me years later and was like, dude, I'm so happy I did that. I feel connected to the community. I'm really having an impact now. And I said to him, dude, that's so much better than just commenting on my post that was really nothing about you and was everything about me saying that people that want more opportunities should go out there and get them. And I was like, and I understand that triggered you. And I'm glad that the result of that trigger is that you did get involved. And yes, it was harder. You actually had to go and deal with it. But good for you. You did the thing. And it's the same with dating. If you're sitting there complaining and you're like, well, it's easier for this guy, he's good looking. It's easier for this guy, he's ripped. It's easier for this guy, he makes more money. No, you're the problem. Okay, he got a better hand. Yes, that guy has a better hand than you. That sucks. You can still win. You can totally still win the game. You're going to have to put in more work. Yeah, you are. That sucks. Sorry about that. But that doesn't mean you can't win. Go and win. And this is me talking from the fact that I was fat, that I was, I had really bad teeth. I found a picture the other day of my teeth before I got braces. Like, I was not a physically attractive guy. I got good with women before I got physically attractive. I've got evidence of that. I got photos of me not looking good, dating beautiful women.
I've seen them.
Right, yeah. But then what happens is you get better looking because you're hanging out with beautiful women. And beautiful women are like, hey, did you know if you just do this? Like, I remember I've got this great photo of me where I've got like this beer belly and I'm totally out of shape. And there's this really hot, beautiful blonde bending over a counter next to me. And it was like our first date. And I remember saying to her, I was like, oh my God, you got 6-pack abs. Like, you're beautiful. I was like, I'm out of shape. And I said, I would love to take a picture and put it online to show people you don't have to be in shape, and you can. And she said, if you blur my face, you can. And I was like, are you serious? And so we took this photo, we set it up and we took this photo on purpose. It was our first night being intimate together. And she said, but there's a condition. I was like, what's the condition? She goes, you have to let me teach you how to get into shape. And I was like, okay, all right, let's do it. And she was an MMA fighter. And there's a whole story there about how we started dating, by the way, which is did I ever tell you about, she made me fight her to date her? Did I tell you this one?
No.
It's a good one. I'll, if you want to hear it, I'll tell it. But basically, that was the deal. So I got to take the picture and I put it online, and a lot of people were commenting on it. I still use it today in my marketing, being like, you can be out of shape and it doesn't make a difference. But she taught me everything I know about fitness and getting in shape, and she got me to the best physical shape I've ever been in my life. It took 18 months, and I got great. And it was her. And that's what happens. Beautiful women, they'll help you. They're like, yeah, you can be attractive. Here's how to do it.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Were you insecure? Because there's a lot of people that may not be what is considered beauty, or handsome, beautiful or handsome, but there's still some people that have that personality or confidence. Well, let me ask you this. In your opinion,
Get it.
Are you born with confidence, or is it something that you can?
You're not born with it. I was completely insecure until I was 26 years old and I started getting good at dating. I remember the moment I was leaving my house. I'm 26 and I got good. I'd been studying dating for about 2 months, and I knew if I went out, I'd meet a woman and I could take her home. And my buddy was really good looking, and we went out together, and he looked in the mirror as we went out, and he pulled his top up and he had like abs, and he was like, bro, you're going to crush it. You know why you're going to crush it, bro? Because God, you are one sexy motherfucker. And he was like hyping himself up in the mirror,
I love it. Yes.
And he was like, Adam, you got to do this. You got to do this. And I was like, I don't need to do that, bro. And he goes, no, you do. You got to do it, bro. And I was like, oh, fuck's sake. And I was like overweight. Like, I had acne. I had a goatee that wasn't even that good. Like, I was just not attractive. And so I went and I look in the mirror and I'm like, you are one ugly motherfucker. Thank God you've got game. And my buddy was laughing. And I'm like, dude, look at us. You're like good looking. Women swoon over you. And he goes, yeah, but you sleep with more women than me. I was like, yeah, I got game. I know what to say. Like, they want to have sex with me. Like, you look pretty. They want pictures with you, and they want to get married to you for the wedding pictures. They want to have sex with me. That's the difference, right? I'm not. So, but once I got good at game, once I got good at talking to women, I became very secure because it didn't matter. Like, I'm a 44-year-old man, MJ. I need Viagra to get my dick hard. If I eat a couple of donuts, I start, gaining extra weight in places it shouldn't. I've got really lazy in bed. Like, I'll be honest, I'm so lazy in bed nowadays. Like,
you don't have to probably participate that much because you got women crawling all over.
Yeah, exactly. Really, because I'm very, very comfortable. I'm not like, I'm the best you're ever going to sleep with. That's, maybe that's true. I think a lot of women have felt that I'm like one of the best they've had. I got messages from women that are like, I've slept with like 10 guys since you, and just so you know, I'm getting married next week, but you're still the best I've ever had. So I got some cool. I screenshot those, so I save those for my own mental security, right?
Right.
But the reality is, I don't really care about impressing people anymore. It's more important to me to find somebody who likes me for exactly who I am and deal with it. But the reality is, it's not who I was when I was 25. This is the piece that people get wrong, because you got guys that are unhappy. They're not having a good dating life. And then they're like, she's got to love me for who I am. I'm like, you're doing that wrong.
Right. Because if you got to love you the way that you are right now, you're broken, you're insecure.
You got it. You got to love you for who you are. You got to love you for who you are.
Yeah.
And you've got to know that there are women out there that love you for who you are because of experience, right? And then you can say, okay, I don't care about any of the other women. Then you can make that statement and you can go, cool, I'm just going to find the ones that I do get on with. And that's great. So like, I'm a nerd, right? Like, and I like sword fighting. And in not this Friday, but the Friday after, I've got 3 hot women coming over my house to lounge around with me in pajamas, watching sword fighting movies, right? That's my idea of a good night. Yeah, that's my idea of a good night, right? That's not the average guy's idea of a good night, but that's mine. I don't need to go to a nightclub. I don't need to spend money on bottles. These 3 women are going to be at my house, and we're just going to lounge around, snuggle up, and watch sword fighting movies. Great. Good night.
I think that no matter how somebody looks, if they have confidence, which comes from knowing yourself and working on yourself, your self-esteem goes up, your confidence changes. If somebody doesn't have this physical, appearance, you always want to take care of yourself. Men, you need to trim your nose hairs and your ears and groom up and stuff like that. But if you're just not like, I swear, I think confidence, even saying to somebody, look, I suck in bed, is enough to pique a woman's curiosity.
Yeah.
She's going to go, okay, I want to know, you know what I mean? Like,
MJ, this is why I like talking to you. The average guy who teaches dating does not understand what you just said. The average guy, they're saying, look at this guy. He's saying he sucks in bed. Don't ever do that. It's like, no, you don't understand women. You're 100% right. Women have mostly only dated men who said they were good in bed. They've never dated a guy that says he's bad in bed. And that alone will make women curious enough to have sex with me.
Or go, all right, I'm going to rock his fucking world. You know
right?
what
Yeah.
I mean? Like thinking that you haven't.
Or I'm going to make him work hard. I'm going to prove.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they'll want to be the one that's like, he doesn't work hard with women. He did with me. And I'm well aware of this. So I know I can be confident by saying I'm bad in bed, knowing that is going to trigger attraction. There will be a woman that watches this and is like, you know what? I'm going to sleep with that guy and I'm going to find out how good he is. More importantly, women who have slept with me, they're going to be going around being like, he's not bad in bed. I've slept with him. He's not bad in bed. And I mean, you've had women message you being like, what's it like sleeping with Adam, right? Women.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I do. I literally get on my anonymous questions, people will literally question me, what's Adam like in bed? And they think that you and I have slept with each other.
I would never tell anybody whether we have or haven't had sex together. I wouldn't kiss and tell. I'm just going to let everyone know that she's as amazing as everyone thinks she is. So talk to. That's what I'm going to say.
They can think whatever they want to think.
Right. But here's what I love about this. Here's what I love. I mean, you would know better. How many other times, like how many other men does that happen to where women message you and be like, what is that guy like in bed? How common is that?
I've never had anybody message me, even like I don't know these people. These are people that are followers that are just like have to ask. They're so curious.
Thank you, and that's my point. So you're a podcaster. Of all the guys you've ever met and everyone you've ever talked to, the only guy that women message you and say, "What's it like having sex with Adam?" is me, and that's because I do go out there and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not good in bed. Terrible." The worst night. I tell everyone, I'm like, yeah, me, the worst sex you're ever going to have. It's not even that impressive. I make good breakfast, though. Right?
And you do.
And that's, thank you.
That too.
This is it. Guys don't get it. They're so busy. Like, I think most guys care more about what other men think than what women think, which is where they get this wrong. That's another form of self-sabotage. You can't build yourself up to be attractive to men and expect to get women. You got to build yourself up to be attractive to women. I'm attractive to women. I mean, I'm sure there's some men that want me, but like I'm attractive to women, and I've done that on purpose. I've built myself to be somebody who is. So I'm very comfortable with who I am, and I don't mind if I got gray hairs or
But that's right there what you said. You said earlier about triggering attraction, and attraction. You can't even do anything with it if you don't have that confidence or if you're getting ready to self-sabotage. Like you can't incorporate, you can't trigger that or be able to handle it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And, that's why, I mean, we made a self-sabotage test on our website specifically so that people can go through. And what we're hoping is that when they read their results, that we show for every personality type, there's 8 major personality types that we've broken down based on a number of different psychological tests. And of the 8 personality types, there are 11 different ways for each one that they self-sabotage. And our hope is that you read it and you go, oh my God, I'm doing 3 of those. And then you can fix it. Then you can fix it.
Okay, so your test reveals dating challenges according to your personality type, right?
Bingo.
Okay, and I took the test last night for the first time.
Oh.
What,
Ready?
What?
You
You can
you
guess
got
already.
performer.
I did.
Oh, I'm so good.
You did. How did you know that? Okay, so then tell me, I'm so curious about this. How would I self-sabotage? What would be typical?
All right. So first of all, how did I know? 1 of 8. I got
I don't
1
know.
of 8, and I didn't see your results. The reason is, I mean, there's lots of reasons. The reason I knew you got performer is you're a podcaster. A podcaster would always get performer because your personality type is someone that wants to be out there performing of some kind, whether it's acting, podcasting, influence, or whatever, right? So of course you're going to get performer. So the performer archetype is such a unique one. It's one of the rarest, but it's the one that we see most often because of celebrityism, right? So you see performers
And social.
more than
Yep.
anyone else, but they're
Oh.
rare because it's lots of people seeing a small group. So the performer has 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses, which is where the self-sabotage come in. So the 3 strengths are they're drawn to emotional stimulation. They like polarity. They enjoy drama. They don't like being part of it, but they enjoy it. The
We
next
call
thing,
that passion.
yeah, passion. Let's call it that. Well, yeah, we can go with passion if you want. The next is they socialize really well. They care about their social group. They don't. They believe social. Almost like their social life is more important than anything else. So they wouldn't want to damage bridges or friendships. They care about that. And then lastly, and this is the one that they don't like admitting, there's some deep insecurity there that they don't tell anyone about. And
About what?
yeah, you saw it. You already reacted. I saw it.
What? I was like, what is he gonna say?
I'm not gonna call you out, MJ. I know you personally, but they have. But performers always have insecurity, always. So they're their 3 strengths. Now their 3 weaknesses are the polar opposite of those things. So, for example, your performer, they're not gonna really enjoy logic-based things, detail, computing. Data-driven stuff. That's very frustrating. I mean, I know that about you. You hate technology, but that's a very, it's the opposite of that emotional drama component, right? The logical, detail-oriented, they hate that. They also really don't like being isolated socially. And if they're in an environment where they don't have access to a social group, that can be really damaging. They often live the fake it till you make it kind of thing. And there are moments that can really hit them quite hard, right? So what that means is in dating, so if we're dating specifically, if they date somebody who's a similar personality type, it's got the emotional highs and lows, which is often who they'll meet because they're performers, they'll meet other performers, that can cause some serious conflict.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the person that would be stable and help them with their career, the more logical minded, data driven, they're boring. And they don't want to date that type. That type is probably a good type for them, but they don't want to date them. Likewise, if they date like a quiet, calm soul, they're going to find that boring. They're going to be like, we're going to go out, we're going to see my friends. And the soul that's quiet is like, oh, I don't want to do that. But then if they date somebody who's just like them, you got this conflict of social life, like who's in charge? And that causes a problem. So that's another form. And then lastly, that when that negativity comes in, that fear, that self-doubt, they can have somebody dismiss it and be like, don't be silly. But then they don't feel heard. And then that can be very isolating, which can make it even worse. So their forms of self-sabotage are that they will date people that they don't have a clear, what is clearly safe for them and makes sense because it's complementary isn't attractive, and what is attractive can be toxic. And so that's where they end up in these situations where they'll meet a guy that promises the world, I'm going to help you, I'm going to support you in your career, and then they find out that they're actually dating a competitor, and this person wants to be in charge and tell them what to do and put them in a bucket or in a cage, and then they're like, but I don't like that, I don't have my freedom anymore, and I feel like I'm being controlled. And he's like, don't be silly. And then he knows how to prey on her insecurities, and then and I don't know your dating life, but I'm guessing I've just listed 3 or 5 people you've dated.
You have to be ready right? You have to be ready to be able to look at yourself, look at your patterns, and be able to make any kind of change, right? Like if somebody
Yeah, you
tells
do.
you you're doing this, if you don't see it, if you don't, if you're not ready, then the change isn't really going to happen.
Yeah, like, you know, it's the same. It's same with anything. If you can't do it yourself, then getting somebody else to help you, to point it out for you, so you actually take change is the difference, right? And it isn't always obvious. It's often counterintuitive,
Right.
because you've got if you, especially if you're in a pattern, you do the same pattern over and over again. Well, for 80% of the relationship, it's great. The 20% that's really nasty at the end is horrible, but your brain doesn't work that way. It remembers the 80% because that was the majority. So the next time you meet somebody who's great, you're like, oh my God, this person's great. I bet they don't have any of that negativity. And then sure enough, you're in the same pattern. And you go, well, that person was 80% good. And the same thing happens over and over and over, where you have to actually build, right? So like my primary partner right now, because we're poly, right? But we had a moment at the beginning of our relationship where we saw not really a therapist, but like an expert in analyzing couples. And I was like, let's spend a couple of $100 and have somebody analyze us. And they did meetings with both of us and then pulled us together and said, you both have really good matching, and you've got this one thing that is going to be a problem. And that thing is, Adam likes to preempt in the relationship and make sure that he's over delivering. And he's like, and you, to my girlfriend, he's like, you like to bottle up problems and let them go away. You don't even need to resolve them. You just go, it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's not a problem. And he goes, the problem is Adam is going to notice that because he's empathic, and he's going to start digging. And you're going to want it to go away. So you're going to bottle it up and make it vanish. And he's going to dig. And Adam won't be able to let go because he wants to make sure he's doing a good job. And you won't want it to be found because you're trying to do a good job and get rid of it. You both have good intentions. This is going to cause massive conflict. First 3 months of our relationship, well, we were fine before. It's when we moved in. When we moved in, this showed up once a week. And it caused these huge issues. And we got to a point where now we've worked it out. If she's like, hey, I really don't want to deal with this, it's on me, I'm making it go away, can you please let it down? And then I'm like, okay, cool. But her alternate is she can say, I'll say what it is, and if you want to address it, you can, but I'm also happy to get rid of it. Or she'll say, yeah, this is a thing, I've been trying to deal with it and I can't, I do want to share it. So we've got 3 tools to deal with the scenario, and I have the tool that I can call her out. So I'm allowed to say, I'm feeling like you're bottling something in. And then she has to respond to it. She gets to say what she wants to say. But no matter what, she has to validate that my feelings are correct. So she has to be like, yeah, you're right. Unless they're not, right? And so there was one this morning where I was reading something, and she's like, what you're reading is me looking at you, wondering what's going on with you. And I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I was like, because I was thinking of something, and I was like, what are you thinking of? And she goes, I'm thinking, what are you thinking of? Right? So that's really powerful.
It's communication, though. You guys have
it is that
huge
comes
part
up, but
of
it would have been
relationships.
it would have been self-sabotage.
Yeah.
It would have been me so desperate to do a good job in the relationship that I'm digging too hard, and her being so desperate to do a good job in the relationship that she's bottling things away. And instead we replace that, but we need an external person. We need somebody else to verbalize, here's what's going on between you two. And again, it was worth it for, I think we spent like $600 or whatever it was. But yeah, worth it.
And like you guys have that conversation this morning.
Yeah.
You have the tools, and then you know what to do.
Exactly. And another way that self-sabotage turns up, by the way, is people fall in love with fantasy characters that can't possibly be real, specifically so that they can justify not dating anyone. And that's a huge one. So someone's like, I want somebody who is like, you see this a lot, like, and a lot of influencers make fun of it. They're like women that say, I want to date a guy that's 6 foot tall, makes 6 figures, and is, good looking and ripped and really smart. And it's like, then there's all these dudes online that are like, you can't meet a guy like that. Like, it's like X amount of percent. And it's like, yeah, but let's interview men as well. And those guys are going to say, I want a woman who's beautiful. She's got huge tits, tiny waist, always wants to have sex, really, really fun, doesn't want me to spend money on her, and does the cooking and cleaning. Like, it's like, yeah, well, that's also not real, dude. Like, you know, like, but these are people's ideals, their dreams. And when you go to somebody, what's your ideal woman or ideal man, right? That they're going to say that's what they want because they've got these high expectations. The problem is when people refuse to bend on their expectations. Or what we do in our dating program is we get people to have more realistic expectations. And the more realistic expectation is a better way to go. And by more realistic, I mean, don't look for things that everybody wants. Look for things you want and bend on everything else. So, like, I like to say to this to guys, I'm like, I want you to tell me what you want in a woman, but you can't say anything that most men would agree with. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, I do want a woman who's beautiful. I'm like, yeah, but everybody wants that. That's like saying you want a woman that breathes air. Yeah, okay, got it. You want a woman that can breathe. Cool. We all want that. So let's not have that as the list, right? It was like, well, she's got to be sexy. Every guy wants that, bro. It's not just you. Every guy. So let's remove that from the list. We don't need to put that on the list. And once you do that and you say to a guy, what do you want in a woman? The guys are like, oh, you don't know. You don't know what you want. That is self-sabotage because they've never actually thought about what it is that they want. And they can't answer the question. This is like one of the first exercises I do with people. So I'll give you an example of what it looks like because I can answer it. I want a woman who has experience with women. That's a criteria. It's a big one. And I want a partner that isn't gifting that to me, but I want a partner who is greedy for that herself. And if you are not eager for that, you and me are not going to get on very well. At some point, there's going to be a point where we're going to clash because you're going to be like, I like tits. I'm attracted to women. I just don't want to date them. No, I want a woman that's like, God, I love the scent of a woman. Stick it in my face. That's a criteria. And not all men want that. Now, when they hear my criteria, they're like, oh, that's a great idea. I'm like, no, you can't just steal mine. That's mine. That's not what you wanted.
Right.
You didn't come up with that.
Figure it out.
Yeah, that's one of my criteria. That's a high criteria for me. Whereas you would probably accept a woman who does not want that, but she's really hot. And he goes, well, yeah. I'm like, see, it's not a criteria. It is a criteria for me. It's got to be there. Another criteria for me is the woman has to like playing games. And I don't mean mind games. I mean, like me and my primary partner right now, we're playing Baldur's Gate 3 on Xbox together. And tonight, we've got a date. We're playing Xbox tonight. Like, it's all mapped out. That's a criteria. If you're a woman that's like, I don't really play video games, or I don't really play board games, we ain't going to get on. My girlfriend, like, that lives with me, she racks up about 4 or 5 hours a day playing video games without me. Without me. Now, that's huge, right? Because she wants to play video games whether I'm there or not. She just would enjoy playing video games with me. So that's another major criteria. Another one is the woman I date has to really, really enjoy photography, filmmaking, and good food. These 3 things are major parts of my life. I love taking pictures of my partners. I love filming little videos and dumb stuff like that. And I love eating gourmet food. I mean, MJ, you've eaten at my house. You know what it's like. Like we eat 5-star gourmet food, the kind of food you would find in the most expensive restaurant in your town. We eat like that almost every day. I mean, almost every meal every day, let alone almost every day. This morning we had like triple chocolate protein pancakes with condensed milk and fresh fruit. Like, I mean, and these are like protein rich, low carb, low calorie, taste amazing. Tons of fresh ingredients. The condensed milk's like the worst part about it, but just like a drizzle. It looks beautiful. I think we've got Wagyu steaks for lunch that we're having, like fresh Wagyu. Like we eat like kings. And I need a partner that gets that. I need a partner that isn't like, oh, we can just grab some corn dogs. Like you say that phrase to me and it's like, sorry, I'm not that guy.
We're not gonna go right.
We're not gonna eat corn dogs today. No, we're not. Like you need to appreciate that we're gonna go to the fancy grocery store that's an hour and a half away to get the fresh ingredients that come from the fresh market because we want those fresh ingredients because we understand the value of that food. and we're going to cook it correctly. The other day, I think we were going around, I bought some fresh sea bass, and my girlfriend had never had sea bass. And she wasn't like, oh, it's a new food, I don't like it. Like, she's like, yeah, baby, please, if you're going to make it. And I'm like, sea bass is like the Wagyu of fish. And I made like a miso glaze. I sort of like did a hex cut on the top of it first, and, seared it. And I put yuzu inside, which is like a Japanese citrus. And again, the average person might be like, just use lemon juice. It's like, no, I want yuzu. I'm going to go to the Japanese store. I'm going to buy yuzu. It's like, because I understand that when you're making miso, it's Japanese. We want the Japanese citrus to go with it. It matters to me. And I need a partner that it matters to as much. And so when I look at those criteria, the side effect is, well, yeah, she better be hot as well. But that's not the biggest criteria. The other qualities are far more important. And what happens, though, is because I'm looking for those other criteria, when I meet a woman, she's like, oh, you're into games. Oh, you play certain video games. I play that game. And she's like, oh my God, you're into cooking. I love cooking. And she's like, wow, you've dated a lot of lesbians. You're a guy. That's a bit strange. She goes, well, I didn't want to tell anyone, but actually I've had a couple of girlfriends. I'm like super into it as well. I always hide that part of myself around guys. Now she's super into me. And I never mentioned how hot she is. And because she's into me, because we have these connections, and I'm only interested in people that are hot, she's super attracted. And it doesn't matter that I'm not picture perfect because we've got all these other connections. And at some point, we all get old. And when we get old, our bodies start falling apart. And the question is, what are you left with?
And you are telling the truth. And even listening to you, it's like people don't realize what they've got going against them. I swear, the listeners, you guys are going to learn so much, or are learning so much. Okay, breaking down knowing what you want in a partner that is beyond what everybody else says. I want them to have a job. I want them to have, beauty. I want big boobs, whatever. You've got that you have to figure out, which means you have to know yourself. And I always say, like, people, when they go out, they go someplace and they sit down and they expect to meet somebody that walks through the door. And then they go just on traction. Maybe they do like each other, attracted to each other. But now they've missed all this. The chances of somebody that specific walking through a restaurant that or out at a club, it's almost impossible to think that somebody walking through the door, you are going to be able to Now, that's where a lot of relationships start off bad. And because they're going off of like surface criteria, whatever. But then you've got your self-sabotaging patterns that are we got so much stuff going against us. We got what we don't know that we really deserve and want. And then we got ourselves standing in the way of ourselves. Working against us.
You can think of it this way, right? Like, let's just say that you really like salmon and you really want to get a salmon fish. And maybe you'll get lucky enough to go into the ocean and find a salmon that's lost. But you could probably just go to where the salmon all live and get as much salmon as you want. And the problem is when guys are like, I want to get a girl that's hot, and they're looking in the ocean for a salmon, maybe they'll find one. But what they are going to find is a whole bunch of fish that look like salmon, other types of fish, and they're going to find out they're not salmon. And they're going to have some dangerous experiences with some sharks and some awkward experiences with, other types of fish that they're not really into. An octopus, it's like, what's that? And then the guys that get it just go to the salmon stream where all the salmon are, and they just enjoy salmon after salmon after salmon. So when I turn around and say, I've got 3 hot chicks coming over to my house a week on Friday to sit and watch a sword fighting movie, it's not an accident. I selected those women from a group of 10 women who all do sword fighting. Because I know where the women that do sword fighting hang out. And I know that watching sword fighting movies while eating good food is their idea of fun. And I'm not sure if I want to explore it with these people. I don't know. And this is something I think most guys aren't comfortable saying. They're like, yeah, she's hot, go for it. It's like, I don't just go for everybody. These people might just stay friends. And I'm open to it being more potentially, but I'm also open to it not being more. What I'm really wanting to is just to hang out with some really hot friends and snuggle up and watch a movie and enjoy good food together and spend more time together and figure it out and see if I like them or not. And guys talk all this all the time, like be the prize. And guys get it wrong. They think be the prize is like make lots of money, get ripped, hang out at a nightclub. That's not the prize. You can get those, they're a dime a dozen. You can find those anywhere. Any nightclub in any town, you can find those guys, right? Being the prize is picking and choosing who gets to have me. Now that's the prize. The prize is picking and choosing who actually gets to experience me. And I understand the value of that. I learned that pretty quick, and I focused on that. And I think most guys don't recognize it. I think the average guy, he says no and he thinks he's missing out. But you know, I've slept with more than enough women. It's very, very easy to meet women. So for me, I'm really picking and choosing, like, who do I want? And I've still got my regular women that I sleep with on a regular basis.
And that right there, knowing that a man picks and chooses, is like, I just don't want to be with anybody because they are attractive or because of this or that.
Yeah.
Really makes you that much more attractive to a woman. You're fine with triggering attraction all along the way of your life with women, wherever you're at.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love women.
You probably even trigger attraction with the girl at Starbucks that you're giving your order to. Like,
I have definitely slept with a number of Starbucks women. Yes.
I'm sure you have.
Yes.
But you do this because you love women, and you obviously know how to compliment a woman or talk to her or say something that will get her mind going. But you're not like, so give me your number. Like, just because she may respond to you in a positive way, you're not jumping on it to get her number so you could fuck her this weekend. You're doing it where, cool, you're treating her like she's a woman and she's beautiful.
Yeah, I put it out there. Even right now on this podcast, I'm putting it out there. Right? I let every woman know, if we're friends, if we get on well, if you're attracted to me, that's a key point. If they're attracted to me, and if I'm attracted to them, also important. And we're both at a point where it just makes sense. I'm smart enough. I use protection. I've had a vasectomy, right? Like, there's no danger from that point of view. I'm not clingy. I'm not controlling. I'm not jealous. None of these things kick in. I'm really just chill. And to me, it's like, let's go grab a bite to eat or let's watch a movie. It's like, hey, do you want to just sit in and have sex tonight and, you know, watch a good film and snuggle up afterwards and fall asleep in each other's arms and drool on each other awkwardly? You know, if that sounds like a fun night, like, let's do it. And I describe it like it really is, right? We're going to drool. It's going to be awkward and we're going to have really cool sex. And then there's someone who's like, but we're friends, won't that ruin the friendship? I was like, it hasn't ruined the friendship with any of the other women, unless you get weird about it. I was like, I'm chill. I don't care. Right. And there have definitely been some possessive women that get really, really, you know, weird about it afterwards. And but I always tell people up front, like, very, very chill about it. And I think that's what makes it appealing for women.
Yeah, they get to have a good time and have intimacy at the end of the night. And go along their way. And I just love that because there's all of the intentions are out there. That's honest. It's open. You're not leading them on. You're not hoping that they think something else could happen. It's just there. And
you got it. I tell women, I'm like, I'm not Mr. Right. I'm Mr. Right now. I'm like, I'm the gap. When you're in between boyfriends, that I'm perfect for that. And what's cool about it is you can date the guy for the average 18 months that a relationship lasts. And when it falls apart, call me. And I'll be friends with you that whole time. I'll meet the guy. Right. I'll help you vet the guy. If the guy's a piece of shit, I'll tell you. If he's a nice guy, I'll tell you. I was like, and then, you know, and then if it ends up going the other way, I was like, here I am. It's really cool. Like, so, you know, I've got 5 kids and, you know, I've got 2 mums for my 5 kids. And one of the mums is like one of my favorite people. She's one of my best friends. Like, I'm friends with both, but one of them, like, we're like best friends even to this day. And, you know, she got a new boyfriend recently. And she said to me, she's like, I really wanted to meet the guy. And the guy was kind of awkward about it. And I was like really chill with him and hanging out with him. And me and her aren't intimate anymore. And I don't want to be because of the kids. I don't want to confuse them. So we're just friends. But like became really friendly with the guy and hanging out with him. And she messaged me. She was like, I really appreciate, you know, you going out of your way to be nice to this guy. I was like, he's a great guy. Of all the guys you've dated, he's my favorite. I like this guy. You know, like, I think he's great. I like it. Like, you know, we hang out with the kids together. It's great for the kids. They see me. And me and this guy, whenever we're all hanging out, I spend a lot of time with him and I hang out with him. And, you know, we joke together and, you know, we sit and eat steaks together and just like have a good time. And he's come up to me a few times and goes, I thought it'd be really awkward, like getting to know you, but actually, like, you're a really good guy. I was like, hell yeah, dude. I was like, sometimes relationships don't work out, and it didn't work out between me and her, and that's cool. She's still one of my best friends. She's still one of my favorite people in the world. But for whatever reason, we went through a period of our life and it made sense for us to separate and not continue. And I'm so happy that she's found a dude who's great like you are. My kids think you're cool. And it's just so wonderful to be like that. And it's because I have no jealousy. I've got no control issues. I'm not trying to control her. We ended. It was great that we ended. It was a good thing. And I love our friendship that we have now. You know, her and my girlfriend, actually, they were roommates for a while. When my girlfriend first moved into town, she didn't have anywhere to stay. And so they lived together for a while. So it's really cool that she met my girlfriend and was spending more time with my girlfriend than me for a couple of months. And so that was really cool as well. So my girlfriend and you know, my ex love each other to bits as well. My girlfriend's always like baking her cakes and stuff. And that's how it should be. That's what people should be doing. You know, if you have good intentions and you don't treat each other badly, you can end up in that way.
I love that because I've witnessed actually your life with your women.
Thanks.
And it's exactly how you describe it.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean that there isn't drama, but like,
right.
The drama happens. And in those situations, you go, okay, cool. Me and this person clearly should not be interacting. Right. So I don't want to pretend I'm perfect. That's not how it is. It's just, but there is an optimum route that I go for. And more often than not, it hits. More often than not, the optimum route is where it is. Like I've got one of my best friends in London. You know, we dated 20 years ago. And to this day, we're still best friends. To this day, we talk all the time. She talks to me about her dating problems. She knows my girlfriend. They've met each other. Like, and it's just wonderful. She's beautiful. She's kind. She's fabulous. We had an amazing relationship, and it just ended because I moved to America. And that's how it should be. You should be able to have your exes should be your best friends. Fun fact: my first girlfriend, I'm still best friends with. My very first girlfriend.
The princess.
No way.
No way.
Way earlier.
When
I was 13, my childhood girlfriend.
Oh wow.
I was 13, I had a girlfriend, and we're still best friends to this day. Yeah. She got really hot.
What does she think about you after she saw you when you were 13?
She saw everything. She saw the whole journey. And we only dated for like a couple of months when we were kids. You know, like it was like kid girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like so but yeah, it's really funny. Because like obviously I went through this awkward phase and then I was terrible with women and didn't really get good with women until I was 26. And then we reconnected when I was in my 30s and we went on a date to cement dating. Because before it was 13-year-old love, right? It was just holding hands. And I don't even know if we made out back then. It was like, you know, it was just, I wasn't cool enough for her when I was 13. But yeah, like, and she's still like one of my best friends and we talk all the time, but we had an adult date when we got older. We had one amazing night in London. And she's beautiful. I mean, gosh, she's just as attractive now as she was then. So
that is so cool. I love that.
that.
Okay. So when it comes to self-sabotage, let's go over some of the questions that you ask in this test so the listeners can go, okay, because what you guys want to do is start looking at your life, looking at your patterns, and discover what it is that you can work on so that you can start breaking them, right?
Exactly. I mean, honestly, the best way is like go to askthedatingcoach.com, askthedatingcoach.com. Go there, do the test. It is a psychographic test, so some of the questions are a bit weird, and they may read strange, but the whole goal is it's crazy accurate. Like I said, I'm proud of the fact it's based on, like, I've got a degree in psychology, and I've got, you know, an MBA as well in business with a lot of that is based on psychology as well. I took a lot of psych modules. And, you know, and obviously I lecture at this point, at the University of Texas in Austin. And for me, a large part of this is just, it's so clearly data driven. It's really easy to spot. And that's why this test is so good. I mean, I love it. I wouldn't teach anyone that didn't take the test. It is geared to men. It's not geared to women. It works for women, but it is written for men because there are more male clients in the world than women. It sounds crazy, but there are. I think women get a lot of help. You know, you go to a magazine, there's good dating advice. Men, good dating advice doesn't really exist, mostly because it's not allowed to get published. A male's desire is driven by testosterone, and the male testosterone count is usually over 10x, sometimes even like 30, 40, 50x of what a woman's is, right? So, you know, the average woman is going to have a testosterone count of between 20 and 60, and the average guy is going to have a testosterone count of between 400 and, you know, 1200. So it's a massive difference. And testosterone drives desire. So men are, and women say sometimes like, oh, just control it. I know what it's like to be horny. It's like, no, you don't. You do not know what it's like to have a testosterone count of 1100. But you know what is funny is
everything we do goes back to our childhood, whether we want to admit it or not. I know it sucks. Our ego doesn't want to let us go there, but it is true. We've inherited an emotional blueprint from our childhood. We inherited it. We didn't choose it. But unhealed wounds from our childhood, no matter how small that we think that they could have been, actually become the driving force of a lot in our life. Take 5 minutes to take the issues quiz. Yes, the mommy and daddy issues quiz. What this will do is give you back a reflection of your emotional blueprint so that you can see what's been running the show in your love life.
I have a really good friend of mine, and she's transitioning, or I should say he's transitioning. So she was born a woman and she's transitioning into a man. And the first thing she did is take testosterone supplements. And she goes, I didn't realize how...
I know that I experienced that when I started taking testosterone. Like
Yeah.
I thought to myself, and mine was just a little bit...
Right, and you're probably just getting it up to like 20, 30, 40, not... Like my testosterone is 1200. 1200. I got tested like 2 weeks ago. I'm 1200. Maybe your testosterone count was 60. And the average guy is 600.
That is so wild. So
Right.
men are made this way.
Yeah,
And
you
if
know
they
what?
suck at dating, then they're really screwed.
I got a good analogy for you, right? The next time a woman's like, why can't a man control sexual desire, right? Why doesn't he just do it? I'm like, okay, totally understand where you're coming from. The next time you're angry and upset, just control it.
Right.
Just how about you don't be so emotional? Try that. And women are like, I can't do that. That's my emotions. Great. Then you understand that arousal is part of that. So yeah, how about less of the, why don't you just control it, and a little bit more understanding. Now, here's a key point. You can't control your emotions. You can control whether you launch them at somebody else. Right? It's like, what, if you have to cry, step outside, right? If you've got that anger, deal with it. Likewise, a man 100% should be able to control his outward arousal towards other people. Yes. But also, let's not diminish that and be like, just control it like us, because the average guy is dealing with 20x. But likewise, the average woman, when they're having a hormonal rush and they're having an emotional, that's harder for them to control as well. We're expected as men to understand that.
So the men and women out there listening, if the women could only, like, again, I experienced this when I started taking testosterone. I remember driving down the road going, I can't even believe that men, and I'm only feeling just, so if women could understand their desire and men could understand women being emotional.
Yeah.
I think there would be a lot happier relationships, right?
Oh,
I mean,
agreed. Or the other, I love this one. I got another analogy on this one, which is to a woman, how long can you hold your bladder before you need to pee?
Right.
And women will be like, a really long time. I'm like, how long is a long time? Days? And they're like, no, but like 6 hours if I have to, or 10 hours maybe. It's like, okay, so you understand that as the bladder fills with liquid, it needs to come out. And she's like, right. I was like, and you understand that testicles are 2 sacs that fill with sperm, right? Like liquid. And they go, right. And it's like, okay, well, you know that's got to come out. It's a bladder. It's got to come out. Where does it go? And I think it's because men are so quiet about relieving themselves, but it's like peeing. Like, it's got to come out. Like, it's got to. And that's how it is. And if it doesn't, it's blue balls and it hurts. And I wish more women understood that about anatomy. Like, and there are definitely some women that have come out there and tried to say, that's not the same. No, it's exactly the same. It's a liquid. It builds up. Yeah, it does. It builds up and it's got to go somewhere.
Analogy.
Right? And I think it just helps women understand. Like, and it's what I explain to every woman that I ever date. I'm like, hey, just so you know, let me just do some basic biology and anatomy. Let me explain how this works. How long would you, the next time you need a pee, how many days am I allowed to make you wait? True. Yeah. Like, that's just not true. There's a few things going on. One, he might need to get his testosterone checked. It is possible. If he's suffering from low testosterone, he might need to. And I'm saying this as a guy who had a stroke passed out and my shoulder fell off my, like I had to have surgery to reattach my shoulder because I passed out due to a stroke, due to low testosterone, which my doctor at the time, I've got a very good doctor now, said that 400 was not low because it's within the range of healthy. Yeah, but it's not healthy to dip below 400. And what happened was I got tested at 400 and then it dipped to 250 with no checkup in between. 400 is the bottom end of the safe spectrum. You're not safe. You really want to be like 600, 700 to be safe in case of dips, right? And get it checked regularly, especially once you cross like 35. So that's like my generic health warning. I'm not a doctor. Go talk to your doctor and get your testosterone. If you're a woman and you're like, my man only needs it once a week. No, you've trained him to only have it once a week. And that's really bad because he's staying with you out of loyalty and he is not happy. He's pretending to be, but he isn't. And this is what he won't tell you. And if you ask him, he'll deny it because he loves you. And this is what men do. They'll suck it up and be like, no, I'm going to prove to her. I'm going to hold this in. You know, I'm going to do it. The best part about anything I've ever learned about dating is I have made sure that I educate women. I talk to them about it. We discuss it. We understand. And don't get me wrong. There is an exchange. There is absolutely an exchange. Yesterday, my girlfriend said to me, hey, baby, I'm hungry. And we understand that exchange because the 45 minutes it takes for me to make her an amazing meal is about the same amount of time for us to go to bed and have amazing. I will make her gourmet food based on the exact requirements of the food that I know she loves that's going to blow her out the way. And then in exchange, she blows me away in the bedroom. And that's her domain and that's what she's in charge of. And it's such a good trade.
It comes from communication and finding somebody, first of all, knowing what your needs are. You know what your needs are. Yeah. And then when you go out, it's a part of what you're considering in a partner. And then you add communication on top of that where she can say, this is what I would love from you. And you're like, this is what I would love from you. And now it's this open.
Exactly. And I want to go a step further because I can hear people, I can imagine.
People don't talk about this.
No, they don't.
They don't talk.
But like there are guys that are gonna be like, oh, so he does all the cooking. No, I cook one meal a day. My girlfriend, she's the chef. She works at 5-star hotels. She cooks 3 meals a day. I eat 4 times a day. She cooks 3 of them. I cook 1. But the one I cook is what she wants. Like 2 days ago, it was dessert. And she was like, I really want a very specific dessert. And she told me what it was. And I tracked down the ingredients and I made her the exact dessert that she wanted to eat. And she got to just sit back, drink a glass of wine, play The Sims, I think she was playing. Play The Sims while I'm in the kitchen making this dessert for her. And then we go to bed that night. And in return, I'm getting the best sex ever. And it's not a clear exchange. It's just understood that every day if she asks me to make her a certain type of food, I'll make it for her. And every day, if I ask her for a type of sex, I don't even have to ask, she'll offer it. And it's the same with food. I'm like, hey, like I said, we're going to have Wagyu steaks after this. But I already told her, I was like, hey, let me make the steaks. So it's not just that she asks, I'm offering. Like, hey, let me make this for you. I want to make you a good lunch. And that's how it works. So it's not that I do all the cooking. It's she has carte blanche to ask me for whatever she wants. And I will every single day offer. You had these 3 questions that we're supposed to ask today, right? What were they? This thing.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, I ask every guest, what is the love or where is the love in your story?
So I totally didn't prepare the answers on purpose, by the way, because you mentioned it. And I was like, I don't want to prepare these. I want to just say it as it is. The love in my story is actually, I've always wanted to be a good dad. When I was 18, I didn't want to get laid. I wanted to be a good dad. And so it wasn't just important for me to meet hot women. It was important for me to meet women that I thought would be great as moms so I could have good kids, so I could be a good dad. And I've got 5 kids. And I made a post about this the other day, but I'm most proud of being a dad. Of everything I've done in life, I'm most proud of being a dad. The women that have dated me, like the ones obviously I've had kids with, like they're like, I have, despite whatever else they would ever say about me negatively, they would never say I'm a bad dad. I know that for a fact because I'm not a bad dad. I'm a really good dad. I've never struck my kids. I've never shouted at them unless they were hurting each other. That's like my exception, or hurting themselves. There was a situation where one of the kids was putting himself in a very dangerous situation. I think I screamed out of fear more than anything. I was totally, and then one time one of them broke the other one's arm and I shouted at the one that broke the arm. I was like, what are you doing? But it's never, I don't insult my kids. We have a strong rule about that. So I'm never like, you are whatever the insult is, it's always like, why are you doing this behavior that is, right? So it's like, I'd never say you're dumb. It's like, why are you doing this dumb behavior? You're better than that. That like, and I've got all that language. Like, that's how I talk to my kids. I really structure it. And again, like, my oldest is 15 now, and I'm most proud of the fact that I get people come up to me all the time being like, dude, whatever you did, that kid is amazing. Like, he's hardworking, smart, intelligent, kind, caring. It's like everything you want to see in a kid. Straight A student. Like, he's already got an internship lined up for when he's 18 at like his dream company. Just everything that I could want. So the love is for my kids, and being a dad is just the best thing. And I think that shaped my relationships, because I wasn't looking for women to get laid. I was looking for women to be moms and to be the ideal partner. And it didn't end up going perfectly with any of them. And I think a part of that, and I teach this a lot as well, is I'm not a relationship coach. That's not my expertise. I'm a dating coach. I know how to meet and attract incredibly beautiful women, have sex with them. And if something goes wrong, I know how to move on and get somebody else. I'm not the best at relationships. I totally make mistakes. I'm not perfect, but I try and I improve. And given a choice between trying to repair the relationships or doing what ended up happening, and we removed ourselves so there was no toxicity for the kids, and move on and meet new people, I'm very happy with the way it ended up. Like, I'm not unhappy with it at all. And I don't think I ever bought into this picturesque ideal that this would be the one person forever. I'm open to it, but it's not something that I'm like, I must have. It's more important to me to live every day being happy because of my kids.
I think that you could be a coach for fathers or for parents. You are such an incredible father.
Thanks.
You really, really, truly are. You enjoy being a father
so much. But being a dad is the best thing in the world. I love being a dad. I love my kids on a level I can't even explain. They're just the best. So that's the love.
Your children are amazing. They're incredible.
Thank you.
Little human beings. I love watching your family. I really do. And where is the lie, or what is the lie?
The lie is in bed with my woman. No, I'm joking. Like lying in bed with her. No, the lie is I'm an introvert, and no one knows unless you really know me.
Right.
And everyone thinks I am this extroverted. Hi, good to see you. Welcome to my house. That's not who I am. I'm not. This is just what works to get people to listen when I'm trying to educate and help. The lie is that I'm this extroverted, outgoing, high energy guy, and I'm not. I am low energy, chill, introverted, lounging around, house cat. I spend most of my time on my back, like relaxing and snuggling up to my loved ones. And I'm really introverted. It's actually funny. I have massive social anxiety. I had it, which is why I wasn't good at dating, and I learned to overcome it. And right now, at the time of filming, I've got a gig. I'm acting. It's a paid acting gig at a local theme park where I play as Robin Hood in the Sherwood Forest Medieval Fair, obviously right up my alley with sword fighting. And on day one, I turned up, and I've done it before, like years ago. Day one, I turned up, and some of the people recognized me, but there were some new faces. And one of the new faces is like, I've seen you around, and I'm really glad that you get to be Robin Hood. And she said, you're really quiet. And I was like, yeah. She goes, I didn't anticipate that. She's like, when you're on stage, you're bold, and you're always walking into rooms. Hi, how is everyone? She goes, but I've seen you. You just sit there quietly. And I was like, I have massive social anxiety. I was like, I'm either on stage performing or I'm silent in a crowd. They're my two modes. And she's like, do you need anything? And I was like, I'm a physical touch person. And if you're comfortable with it, I was like, you can come and touch me at any point, and I'll probably just like rest my head on your lap and just sit in silence. And she went, I'll do that for you if you want. And I'm so grateful for this woman who has become a really good friend. And she literally just pinpoints whenever I'm alone, walks up to me, and she sits next to me, and she'll like tap her shoulder, and she'll just like put me on her lap and snuggle up. And she's married, and I met her husband, and he made a comment the other day, and it's like, every time I look for you, you're like cute guy with you that's playing Robin Hood. You know, what the hell? And I was like, yo, that's not what's going on. And he's really chill about it. He's actually really cool. And I'm pretty sure they had a whole discussion, but like I go out of my way and chat to this guy because I don't want him to feel any sort of way. Right. But his wife is phenomenal, and my girlfriend isn't around, and I don't really want to mix work and pleasure, so I'm not really trying to date anyone there. I'm just trying to enjoy doing the good job and good performance for the kids, and I'm just super thankful for this woman who's doing that for me. So the lie is this vision of me that is amazingly social and extroverted, which is just not where it is. And the reason I'm sharing that story is I do still have social anxiety, and I know how to combat it. But when I'm doing rehearsals for 12 hours a day, 2 days a week, every day, the social anxiety actually kicks in worse, because it's like, I don't know how to talk to people. I don't want to perform on stage and then perform off stage. Like, I need to calm down and memorize my lines. I need these quiet moments to recharge and get ready to do it again. Mm. And so just having a friend who is like, yeah, you can snuggle up to me and everything's okay. And I'm now at a point, it's kind of got around, there's like 3 different women that have figured this out, and they'll all come up to me and they'll like put their arms around me and hug me. And so that's really, I'm very thankful for that, that works really well. So yeah, that's the lie.
I think that you sharing that about your social anxiety makes you also more relatable for a lot of the listeners, guys out there. They never think that they should leave the house because they'll never be able to have a dating life like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you just need to learn to, again, it's be comfortable with, right? I don't mind talking about it. I don't mind saying, hey, I have social anxiety. Hey, these are, and it's just, I just don't know what to do or say if I'm not trying to perform, and I don't want to perform all the time. Like, that's not what I'm about. And so outside of that, the things I want to talk about, I mean, I do know what to talk about, but I just want to talk about the things I want to talk about. I want to talk about sword fighting and video games and board games and strategy. Like, that's kind of what I want to talk about, or helping people. These are the things I care about. And so when people are hanging out and they're like, yo, did you see that football game the other day, bro? It's like, I got nothing to add. There's no conversation here, Or if someone's like, how was work last week? And the things I deal with at work are like, I can't talk about my clients, so I can't say some stuff. So then I'm like, it was good. I'm like, what happened? And it's like, how do I tell you that I'm dealing with this situation where this guy has this very, very unique situation that I cannot share any of the details of whatsoever due to client confidentiality? Yeah, I can't really say anything. So that kills conversation as well, right? And so it's like then you get talking about food, and it was like, have you been to this restaurant? I don't go to restaurants. Well, why not, bro? There's this really cool restaurant. Well, because for a fraction of the price of that very, very expensive meal, where I'm going to be really disappointed at the quality of the food, my girlfriend is a gourmet chef, and I'm really good at cooking, and so I eat gourmet food at home with fresh cut food, no preservatives. We know it's good. There's nothing. I got nothing for the average conversation. So yeah, social anxiety is real.
It is. What is the truth?
The truth is, and maybe it's another lie. I don't know how you want to look at it. The truth is, my ability with women is significantly better than I talk about online. And it's only when people get to know me that they really realize just how it is. There's been a few moments in my life where I don't kiss and tell. I don't like talking about people I'm sleeping with. I think it's kind of rude to do that. And there have been a few moments in my life where somebody has figured out the amount of women I'm sleeping with. And some people are impressed, and some people are shocked, and some people are really like, I've lost friends over it. I've had friends be like, every woman? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, wait. Every beautiful woman that came to your house in the last 5, you dated all of them. And it's like, yeah. And I just thought you had like 3. He's like, that number's insane. And people are like, I don't know who you are anymore. I was like, what do you mean you don't? This is who I am. I sleep with a lot of women. Like, I do. And so that's the truth. That's the truth that, and people, especially online, they don't know what it looks like when somebody's actually good with women, because a lot of the guys online are fakers, or a lot of the guys online, they'll post pictures of them posing with women. And they'll be like, look at all these women in my life. It's like, yeah, but I know you're not sleeping with those women. I know what it looks like when you sleep with a woman. The woman isn't doing this. She's not, right? That's not what it looks like. When you're sleeping with a woman, she is giggling and laughing, and she is like, or like, fuck. Like it's more of a like, oh my God. Like it's that look. And you don't see these guys online that are posing with women and the women are looking like that. But if you hang out with me and you see the women that I hang out with, they all look like that all the time. Because I make them laugh, I get them turned on, I get them aroused. And I'm not saying I'm the best in the world. I'm not saying there aren't other people that are capable of doing it. I'm just saying the truth is I am significantly better in person than people could even imagine. And it's not a question for me of how it works. I've been doing it 19 years. I know exactly what I'm doing. Everything is step by step by step. I know how to turn a woman on. I know what parts of her body drive her wild. I know exactly how to place my hand to have her, desperate for what comes next. And it's through a lot of practice. So yeah, the truth is I am significantly better than people think. And people think I'm good. That's not like people think I suck. People think I'm good, and I'm better than that.
I love it. So this just, I hope, gives all the listeners one big, huge impression, which is you have to get to know your own. You got to start with yourself. You got to get to know your own needs and desires.
Yep.
And what you're doing to not know that, or self-sabotaging, or whatever the pattern is, in order for you to be able to create a healthier, successful, their version of what love and relationship.
Jay, I'm laughing so hard right now, by the way. I'm trying to listen to what you're saying, but I can't lie. I'm using a different video camera than I normally use. My other video camera, which we switched out at the beginning, has a different angle of my bookcase, and my girlfriend's naked at the top of this entire thing.
What?
I put those pictures out of frame. But so for everyone watching, this is not my normal camera. I have another camera that is positioned at a different angle. I've just noticed she's literally in the entire
That is hilarious.
Oh, I angled the other camera on purpose, and on with whatever.
Where's my finger? I was gonna point. I can't. But no.
Yeah, that's so funny. Whatever.
I love it.
She's chill. That's so funny.
I love it. And she's so beautiful, and she's such a great girl.
Well, I think the thing that I love about her the most is that she doesn't like social media. I think it's very easy to meet beautiful women that want to be adored online. I have hundreds. I mean, I've sent you pictures. Yeah. I got hundreds of pictures of her naked, posing, looking like a model. None of them go online because she's not interested in male attention at all. She doesn't like male attention. She doesn't want it. She's stunning, but just not into that adoration. She just likes the pictures to mask because she's hot. And she likes sending them to me.
That's a thing.
It is a thing because she's into women. She says to me all the time, she'll sit, I'll catch her and she's like, playing with her own breast. Like, what are you doing? She goes, I'm gay. I love that. And it's a really fun relationship because, like I said, that's a big quality for me is I want a woman that's attracted to women. It's great. It's a great quality. So I love that. I've got hundreds of pictures of her, but they don't go anywhere. They're just ours, which is the best. It's the first time that I've met a woman that's very comfortable being seen beautiful and also doesn't want to put them online.
Oh, so refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
So refreshing.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the listeners, we're going to go through some of the questions on the test, but they can go to AskTheDatingCoach.com, right?
Mm-hmm. Just take the test themselves, go give it a go, check it out, see what you think. Think they'll love it.
You know what I loved about the test, though? I loved that the options, the selection for you to choose from really included everybody. I didn't think that I would be on there. I thought I was going to have to, but the performer was the results. Yeah. And I was so happy to see my personality type in there amongst the options. So
got everyone
will be able to, yes.
Everyone, yeah, got everyone. And like you said, it's so accurate. I love that. It's so accurate. We only made the test a couple of years ago. So up until a couple of years ago, the test was all data points in a very, very complicated psychological, algorithm that we built up. And I was the only one that could do it without using a spreadsheet. But I just knew it. I was like, oh, they tick these 20 boxes. This is their archetype. And I got challenged by a business mentor of mine to be like, you should make that a very simple thing that anybody can do. And so that took probably about 10 iterations before we got a version, the one that we currently have. And even when I first finished it, I had a buddy of mine break it, and I had to go and do it again because he came up as the wrong thing. And he would say to me, tell me what my personality type is. And I'd tell him, and the test would come out different every time. And that really frustrated me. But I've got it down now. I genuinely was more accurate than the test for a long time. And I think I'm at the point now where it's about the same. The results tend to be about the same every single time.
If you like today's episode and got anything out of it, please be sure to comment, like, subscribe. We grow because of you. Thank you so much for listening. It was a lot of fun taking it. All right, everybody. We have Adam Lyons, the dating coach, the GOAT. And all they have to do is askthedatingcoach.com to find you, right?
That's it.
And they can follow you on your social media. Like, you're always posting stuff on dating.
Yeah, at the Adam Lyons. I teach everything or I post about everything from dating to business to being a dad to being a nerd. And they're like my and food sometimes. But they're like my four major topics. But yeah, I love I love people connecting and saying hey. But the test is a great way to start. And I don't know if you know, MJ, but we finished it since we spoke to you. We finished out a whole bunch of back end stuff. So now, once you do the test, you're gifted a 2.5-hour training for free. And we actually, for anyone that wants to work with us, we give away $2,000 scholarship for people that want to come and work with us to make it even easier.
Let's go. They have no excuses. Gotta take the test and at least do the
thing.
Training seminar. Yeah.
Do the thing.
Oh my gosh. I think we just changed or help other people change their lives.
I think so too. It's good to see you again. Thank you so much.
Right.
Wait, appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Adam.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.